Hey guys, I'd like to tell you my thoughts on the Spyderco Sage 1. This is the Sage model that has a liner lock and laminated carbon fiber over G10 handle scales. I have had this knife for a few months now, and from the first day I got it, I was very happy with it. I've wanted the knife for a long time. Ever since I've seen Blunt Truth's For You review and test of it, I said, someday I'm gonna get the Sage. Now, I like the paramilitary too. I like the military. But as an EDC, I think the Sage is better. It is not so tactical looking. Every time somebody saw me using this knife, their first comment was not, "Why do you need a knife for?" But, "Well, that's a cute little knife." And it is, because the blade length is shorter than your usual folder. This is about 3 inches. And most of us use a folder for everyday tasks, for light tasks, where 3 inches of blade are sufficient. Now, some people have to work with a knife. Certain jobs demand it, that you always have a knife to cut through tough materials. In that case, of course, the Sage could pull it off. It's very well constructed, but I would advise towards a bigger blade. Now, I'm not saying that's not possible. Blunt Truth For You had such a job, and he carried the Sage, and he said he was really, really happy with it. For me, it were a few other things that did it, not how it performed under heavy tasks, but the look of the knife. Because if a knife is not pretty, you are probably not gonna carry it with you all the time. The people who use Open L's or Victorinox knives are either very practical people or they like the knife. There are some beautiful Victorinox and Open L models, and I too like to use Victorinox knives simply because they offer more options. But for a simple folder, I think this is very, very close to EDC perfection, as is the paramilitary, only this one does not look so threatening. I like this, I guess it's a leaf shape blade, this continuous belly, it's almost a continuous belly. It's very practical, and the tip is very resistant. Recently I had to make a little cardboard project, and I cut double-plied cardboard for about 30-40 minutes with this, and of course it wasn't shaving sharp after that, but it was very practical. And I actually used this grip, and I actually used the choke hold a few times. What I noticed, however, was that this is my regular tendency to catch the knife, and it's not comfortable. If you would catch it like this, there's this big gap right here. And cutting cardboard with such a small blade that has this huge Spyderco hold compared to the size of the blade, cardboard will get cut up right here in the hole, and you will be tearing through cardboard. So you have to be a little aware of that fact and work around it. Now, the jimping on the blade, I do have a theory about jimping. I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I don't need it, and if it's there, it should not bother me. With the military, the paramilitary too, and the Sage, the jimping does not only not bother me, but I kind of like it. It does help, especially with such a little knife. But I do not think it's necessary. The knife usually Spyderco knives come with a 20-degree per side edge angle. This one, however, didn't. It was a bit larger angle. I don't know exactly how much, but I changed that to 25 first, just to see how it does, and then I took it down to a 20-degree per side edge angle. And that's usually how I keep all my knives, except for my Moras and the convex grinds. And I was very, very happy with that. For me, it's intermediate edge angle. It'll keep a sharp edge for a long time. Won't do that well with some materials, but it'll do well enough. Let me put it that way. What I liked about the Sage the first time, and I continue liking that fact, is the smooth action. It is very smooth, and I have the pivot tighten so that it does not have blade play, and still very smooth action. Now, after I work with it for a while, sorry, spider, I have to move it away so I don't kill it. After I work with it for a while, it will get scratchy because it gets dirty, especially when I work out in the woods, although I don't consider this a woods knife. And last time I cleaned it, all I did was remove this scale, took the blade out, the washers, wiped them down with a bit of tissue paper, and that was it. No oil, no nothing, and it works. Now, as tight as I have it set, if I flick it out like I would any other knife, it won't flick out completely. Oh, this time I did it a bit harder, but I'll get somewhere like that. So usually I don't flick it out. Of course, like you've just seen, I can flick it out, and the clip really helps with grip while flicking it out, because I will hold my fingers here and just flick the blade out hard. I usually open the knife like this. It's tons of fun to play with. And why? Not just because of the smooth action, but the liner, you can see it, the liner lock part here, you have enough cutout out of the G10 and the top liner so that you can get your thumb in there very comfortably, and the liner is nice, smooth, and polished, unlike some other knives which have a jimping on the liner lock right here to help with the grip. This one doesn't, because there's enough room here to get even a gloved finger and depress the liner. And that makes playing with this knife super fun. Now, another feature that I really like for such a knife that has a choil here is that should you depress the liner and close the blade without moving your thumb out of the way, the choil area will hit your fingernail. You see that? Not the blade. And that can save you some pain. Some knives that have more blade length and have the blade running up to the handle might cut you. As I do like to play with knives a lot, I try to stay away from those knives unless I use them strictly as work knives, not play knives. Of course, Spyderco drilled out the liners to help reduce weight, and the carbon fiber looks very good. I do like the one size Torx construction. This just makes it practical to take the knife apart and put it back together, or just tighten the pivot. All you need is a T8 for this job. You don't need another T6 or a T10. I think that's just practical, and I like it. Now, the wire clip, this is not the original wire clip, as the Spyderco Sage comes with a black clip. This is not the original. This comes from a UK PK. The wire clip is slowly but surely becoming my favorite clip. Actually, it just became my favorite clip. It's low visibility. Of course, you can blue this. It won't catch the bluing as carbon steel will, but you will have a blackened clip. And it's low visibility, which is nice. Plus, this is really tough wire. I mean, this is tough wire. It won't break. Some people say they had problems with wire clips. I didn't have any problems with wire clips. You can position this for right hand side, left hand side, tip up carry, no tip down. For me that's okay because I don't usually carry my knives tip down. And you don't have a lanyard hole. Now you could drill through the G10 and the carbon fiber, and right here there's a drilled out portion of the liner, and you could have a lanyard hole if you so desire. I don't need a lanyard hole. I don't have much use for them unless it's a heavier folder that I think about using for chopping. This is not the case. For me, this is one of the more beautiful Spyderco knives. Cleaning it is very easy. The action is very smooth. It holds an edge very well, I would say. S30V is a favorite steel for a lot of people who like knives. It's not really my favorite steel, but I'm happy enough with it. So, if I did not cover certain points, could be for two reasons. One, I may have forgotten it, or two, somebody else already said it very well and I didn't feel like repeating it. But what I would like to say is, even if you would work really hard with this knife, as I did, it's still more comfortable than other folders. And if you were to use a glove, you would have no problems with it, except for the blade length, which does come short, pun intended. The distal taper, I'm sure you know it, comes in very handy. And like I said, I had to work about 34 minutes cutting cardboard into precise shapes, and the tip and the distal taper really came in handy. So in my opinion, there is little one could do to improve this knife, and that's very rare. It carries excellent, whether you have jeans or cargo pants, carries excellent. I carry it next to a flashlight, have no problems with it, and it never ever bothered me. Also, it might be a bit wider, some people don't like that, but it's definitely slim profiled. These were my thoughts on the Spyderco Sage 1 after having carried it as an EDC knife for, I don't know, 2-3 months. I do occasionally take other folders as an EDC to strictly test them, but whenever I leave this one at home, I kind of feel bad because I like the little Sage. I really, really do. Guys, I hope you liked the video. Maybe it was useful to somebody. I'd like to thank you for watching. If you have any comments or questions, let me know and I'll try to get them as soon as possible. And I'd like to wish you all a great day.